Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks and to a kind of open with me. This is a book that I'm reviewing. It's 100 bright and colourful granny squares to mix and match by Leonie Morgan. So there's lots and lots of granny square books, and there's many kind of reproductions of squares that have been made by so many different people. So it's hard to invent the wheel or reinvent the wheel when you're doing a book like this. But I thought I'd give it a look and see if it's what it's like and whether it's worth the purchase. So the actual cost of this one, unless you can get it cheaper through wherever, Amazon or other places, it's by Search Press and it is $10.99. Well, it was at the time of this book. This particular one coming out. So you've got 100 bright and colourful granny squares to mix and match. So there are kind of illustrations there of what you could do with your squares, and there's your contents of all of them. I'm hoping it doesn't go into too many details about what type of yarn to choose, what type of hook to do, all the irrelevant stuff that pads out books. So I'm really hoping that that's not in here. So we've got chapter 1 is tools and techniques. Chapter 2, block and stitch designs. That's up to from pages 34 to 141. Okay, so what's beyond that? Maybe that's all there is. So tools and techniques then. Yeah, here we go. Yarns, hooks, stitch markers, safety pins, scissors. We don't really need that in a book. Just saying, whoever sees, if you're thinking of writing a book, don't put that in. Stitches and techniques, presumably there are other ways to learn other than looking at diagrams. So how far do we go? Reading patterns and charts, that might be a bit more useful. A bit about tension, working with colour. Rubbish. Designing your own project. Okay, bit about placement. Blocking and joining, edging. So we're not actually there yet. We are page 30 to 31 and we are still not seeing any granny squares or blocks, just everything else. And do we need that? I guess some people might say that's a nice edge and I'll try that one, but really, embellishments, caring for your project. It's got washing instructions on the yarn band. Block and stitch. I'm being hypercritical, aren't I? Am I just in a bad mood, or do you guys understand where I'm coming from? That we are this far into the book already and we've not got one kind of square. It's just padding, as far as I'm concerned. Might be a couple of things that are quite useful there, but mostly padding. So here we go, block and stitches. What have we got? Flower ones. These are the daisy ones. I won't hover too much over the patterns because it's not really fair of me to show how the patterns are done. But we've got spiked. So we've got daisies, we've got spiked. And then hearts. So we've got some charts for that, which is not too bad. It's pretty cool. And then we've got carnival. So I guess it reminds me of kaleidoscope, really, is a better word. When you're a child and you have those kaleidoscopes with the geometric patterns, that's what that kind of reminds me of. But and we've got flame flower. It's only flame, really, because of the colour choices, I suppose. But we've got the charts for them, as well as how to do. So there's where it tells you how to do all the rounds, and there's the charts if you rather follow that. They've called this darts, triangles, I don't know, but anyway. And then we've got popcorn stitch, again the charts, tutti frutti, it's just colour, isn't it? I'm going to move my tea, that was in the way. So tutti frutti is purely just working with different colours, just stripy. And this one is flower in the web. So we've got the web. Well, basically, this is how I construct my squares. So I will make the round and use the webbing to make the square, or vice versa, or in any other shape, hexagon. So I kind of feel like any round to a square does use this kind of web, but I don't always make mine wholly because I don't really always like holes. So we've got bobble hearts. I've seen a lot of this pattern, a lot of patterns that you can buy, or free ones, or ones that have been in magazines. I've seen this bobble heart pattern a lot. It's nice, I suppose. I've never really made it. I was going to make one that was all one colour once, but I went wrong. I don't mind admitting it. My mind wasn't on it and I went wrong, so I just decided to leave it and never do it again. So this is the traditional granny square. Well, we all know that one, I think. And we've got a mitre block. So that just means, you know, one side has the colour. So you've got the block there, mitred in the corner. So yeah, as I said, it's not reinventing the wheel. They've been around a lot. We've got one with a bobble row. I suppose if you use them for inspiration, that's one thing. Octagons, made hexagons. I can't say that I've really made octagons. So I'm being careful not to show the whole pattern how to do it, because, you know, that's really not very good, is it, to do that? But these are simple waves. If you want to make waves. Back posts, so we're going into the realms of back posts and making the ridges and behind the stitch, which is quite nice. Mitered flower. Don't really see how that works in the whole. Oh, I guess that's it. I thought show the whole square, but this is the whole square. It's just a quarter of the flower, if you like. And home. This is how to make the words. So we've got charts for the words, which, oh, you know what, I love a chart. Eye popping popcorn. So again, we've got popcorn stitches and what you can achieve with those. Moving the T a bit more. Platinum, purple and pink. They kind of do go nice together, but really, is that what you're going to call that square? Strange name. Pretty in pink. It's only called Pretty in Pink if you use pink, isn't it? But, you know. What do you think of this book? Let me know in the comments section. What we got here? She sells seashells. I want to say on the seashore. A fluffy flower. So we got a bit of, what's the word? Ruching, would you say? Ruching going on? Or one that's not. Pink lavender. Again, really not the colour. You could do it in green and purple. It won't be called that anymore. This one spells out love. So there we go. We've got nice charts for showing how to do love. And I like some of these, actually. Framed primrose. That's quite a pretty one. If you're into the flowers. Wildfire. It's just really a solid granny square. Rainbow ripples. So different ways of doing the chevron kind of squares. Never thought of doing a square as a chevron. A frilly circle. So you've got this frill going around. If you're into your frilliness, that might be for you. What's this? Big bloom. So we've got a nice big flower on a big cushion. What do you think of that? Big bloom. It's got that kind of ruched bit in the middle. A spiky square. So they've always got 3 variations on this thing. Bright flower. Funnily enough, I always seem to like the bottom one. The least fussy one. Simple ripple. Well, I thought we just did a ripple. But there we got another one. Orange slices flower. Okay. And pastel diamonds. Again, like the bottom one. It's very similar to one I've already done that. I did a coaster, it looked like that. Circle square. And we've got Baltic Sea. Baltic cross, maybe. I don't know. Blueberry patch. What do you think? Do you like these squares? I think, you know, to say that you've got 100 when you've got 3 of each, they're all the same but slightly different, but it's one square does 3. So maybe there's not quite 100 different things, but 100 things to do with the same sort of, you know what I mean? Am I making that myself clear there? Puffy flower, didn't even see what the other one was. Connect 4. Now I've got something a little bit like this on mine. It's called the Country Garden Square, and I did it as a granny, and then I raised the bit in the middle, and I really liked that square, and I was going to make stuff with it and I never did. Magic carpet. I did the actual square motif, but never used it to make anything with. Octagon framed flower. Diagonal bubbles. Do you like that kind of flower? I'm not sure about it myself. Savannah sunrise. Again, that's just the colours, isn't it, really? It's another mitered square. Candy. Again, just maybe the colours. They're all very similar. Maybe it's my critical eye, I don't know, but they do seem a bit similar. Another ripple, but a lacy one, except for the bottom one, which is not lacy. And we've got woodland web. Okay. Not really keen on the webby one. Bold block. Bold block. And swirly and circles. Now, I don't know, that's different, isn't it? Like a spiral. A spirally one. My tea's getting in the way again. Now, they've got one called Ferris wheel, and I have one called Ferris wheel. It's not the same. Nowhere near alike, but I have a square called Ferris wheel too. Square foot garden. That's a strange name. Well, that's it. That's all we got. So what do you think? Are you impressed with bright and colourful granny squares? Or not? I think as a price it's not bad. I mean, I don't know when I bought this, to be honest with you. I bought a few books recently, so I haven't seen the price of this book in the shops or online. But $10.99 doesn't appear to be an outrageous price. There are some where I've been doing my magazine reviews and there's been a book in there, and I'll look and I'll think, how much? And it's taken me by surprise. So overall, $10.99 is not a bad price for a book. When it comes to these books, I usually kind of look at them and I think, oh, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. But there's only maybe 1 or 2 that I would actually really want to work and do out of them. But sometimes they inspire me, and I might look at a square and have a little go at something similar and improve upon it. Do you know what I mean? Might think that's a bit clumsy and improve upon the overall look of it, but it will inspire me to do something. Like maybe the love one might inspire me to do something, or but there's always the obligatory kind of normal granny square. I didn't read the pattern. I didn't know if it was a seamless one, whether they turn the work each time or what they do. So I can't really comment on the actual tuition of it, if you know what I mean. Only on the overall appearance. And they are nice. They're very well kind of blocked and illustrated. But quite often, as I said, I think there's 3 that is just really one square but shown in 3 different ways. So whether that counts towards the 100, I believe it probably does. But yeah, there's quite a nice selection. There's some that I would never make in a million years, but there's, quite a lot of them are nice, but then the vast majority are just okay, in my opinion. But, I'd like to know your opinion. So tell me, what do you think of 100 bright and colourful granny squares to mix and match? And the overall design of the book, the fact that you've got the how to do it bit, the pictures, quite big pictures to sort of look at, and then you've got the charts, diagrams, which I think is good that they've got that. The first bit I'm not particularly enamoured with, all of this bit. I think if you were a beginner, you wouldn't be looking at those pictures to learn. I think you'd be wanting to watch a YouTube tutorial or something just to get the stitches down. I think it's all unnecessary. I think the yarn information, the hook information, all of that is unnecessary. All of that is, to my mind, unnecessary. I certainly wouldn't put it in any book I wrote. And so basically you can just go like this for the whole front section and go, there we go, there's the start of the book. I don't know that anybody would find this, apart from a bit of edging maybe. That sewing together, you could still see that on YouTube. I know you could see edges on YouTube, but there's might be some informative stuff in amongst these edges. I don't know, I haven't read it to that extent. Never made one of them. I don't tend to make other people's things. You know, I've designed them myself, or I'll look at it and think I quite fancy making that, and I'll do it myself in my way. So tell me your verdict then. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.